It was in the operating room, either just before or during surgery, that everything shifted. I saw myself leaving my body. Literally, I was up near the ceiling, watching the scene below. My body was lying there, and the nurses were rushing around me. I clearly heard one of them shout, "He's in shock." Welcome to Let's Lift the Veil. If these testimonies touch you, help us spread the word. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Every interaction helps these extraordinary voices be heard by as many people as possible. Keep sharing the light. Stay curious. Stay open. Let's lift the veil together. It happened on October 7, 1978. I was only 17 years old, full of life like most teenagers. It happened during a high school football game, a moment that started out completely ordinary. But that day, everything changed. A violent impact. I didn't know it at the time, but the collision had split my spleen in two. The doctor at the game couldn't diagnose how serious the injury was. He just told me to go home and rest. So I stayed for the entire game, standing there, unknowingly bleeding out internally. Later that night, my dad took me to the hospital instead of letting me ride home with the team. When I got there, I could barely walk. I had to stop every few steps to bend over and let blood reach my brain. Doctors later told me that over 2/3 of my blood had pooled into my abdominal cavity. If I had arrived just 30 minutes later, I wouldn't be here today. It was in the operating room, either just before or during surgery, that everything shifted. I saw myself leaving my body. Literally, I was up near the ceiling, watching the scene below. My body was lying there, and the nurses were rushing around me. I clearly heard one of them shout, "He's in shock." Strangely, I tried to talk to them, to ask if they needed help moving me. I felt calm, at peace, and even though I was no longer in my body, I felt very present. Then suddenly, I was surrounded by light. Not just any light. It was the brightest, purest white light I've ever seen, yet it wasn't harsh. It embraced me, filled me with a sense of total peace. And in that moment, I felt something I had never experienced before: pure, unconditional love. A peace so deep, so profound, it defies description. I didn't see a tunnel, no familiar faces, no spiritual beings. And yet, what I experienced went far beyond anything I had ever been taught in church. It was an experience of total unity. I felt completely connected to everything. No more conflict, no more questions, just harmony. Throughout the entire experience, my awareness was sharper than it had ever been. My senses felt heightened. And in that clarity, I understood a powerful truth. Everything is love. Not the kind of love we talk about on earth, something much greater. Limitless. Eternal. I didn't see my life flash before my eyes. I wasn't given a divine mission. But I knew I had to return. That my time here wasn't over yet. That I still had things to live and to learn. My life behind the veil. Since that day, my perception of life has changed completely. I no longer follow any specific religion, even though I was raised Protestant. What I experienced opened me to something else entirely: the certainty that life doesn't end with the body, that we are so much more, and that our consciousness continues. It also changed the way I treat people. I think more about kindness now, about compassion. about being a better human being for those around me. And when I've lost people I loved, this experience made it easier to let go. Because I know, deep inside, that there is something after this life. And it is beautiful. I remember this experience more clearly than almost anything else from that time in my life. It's like a living memory. And even though I've never felt anything quite like it again, I'm absolutely convinced what I experienced was real. Unshakably real. When I talk about it, some people look at me with doubt. But those who've had a near-death experience, they understand immediately. There's a kind of recognition, a shared truth we don't need to explain, because we carry it inside us. Thank you for listening to this near-death experience. If this story moved you, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing it. It's a small action for you, but it means the world to this growing channel. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next journey beyond the veil. Every click helps us give voice to these powerful stories. Take care of yourself and those you love. Until next time, keep sharing the light. Stay curious, stay open. Let's lift the veil together.